Hey, what's up guys, your mom here, Monster Gadgets. Today is Tuesday, September 17th, 2019. I hope you're all having a wonderful day wherever you might be. Thank you so much for joining me. If you are a new viewer, please consider liking my video and subscribing to my channel. If you are a return viewer or subscriber, thank you so much for your support. I greatly appreciate it. So today I'm going to be talking about the big Apple event that took place last week on Tuesday, September 10th. Some good things that came out of it. I'm going to cover that, but also one major drawback that I thought Apple could have done in their phones a lot better than they did. So let's talk about that after this intro. Alright guys, so welcome back. So just as a quick recap, if you haven't seen the event, I'm just going to give you a quick overview of the event. Basically, Apple covered Apple TV Plus. They released the new iPhones, iPhone 11s, and they talked about the iOS upgrades and things like that. So if you haven't watched it and you want to take a look at it, there's a ton of videos already on YouTube giving you like a 5-minute breakdown, 10-minute breakdown. Go check those out, or you guys can go check out on Apple's website the actual full keynote. But it was interesting to see the lineup of the new iPhones that Apple came out with, iPhones 11. And particularly the big focus on their new phones was basically the new camera system. Essentially, I mean, there's some upgrades, you know, the new chip they're coming out with and things like that. But their main focus overall was just on the cameras itself. And so I'm just going to quickly show you the different variants of iPhone. They came out with the iPhone 11 and the iPhone 11 Pro, and even in the iPhone 11 Pro, there's an iPhone 11 Pro and an iPhone 11 Pro Max. And while I understand there needs to be different variants to kind of focus on different markets, and I respect that, one thing that I want to touch on that I thought was a bit off was they focused their iPhone 11 Pros and Pro Max for it to be Pro. And the one thing that bothered me was their starting point for the Pro version comes with 64 gigabytes of internal storage. As you guys know, the iPhones, you cannot upgrade with any external micro SD card like you can in some other phones by Samsung and other providers. So Apple, you're basically stuck with whatever internal storage that you get. And again, while that might be okay for someone who uses an iPhone 11, who isn't considered a pro in that sense, when you come into a flagship type of phone, I would assume that you want to have it marketed towards that pro individual. So I don't understand why Apple has that, where they have the starting point at 64 gigabytes. So from the 64 gigabytes, they jumped to the 256 variant and the 512 variant. And the Max Pro, is not cheap. It basically starts at about $1,000 and it goes up to about $1,400 and some change. Now, if you do a comparison between Apple and other flagship phones that are out there by different providers, you look at the Samsung Galaxy Note 10. I think it's a very fair comparison between the two. And even the Samsung Note 10, as a base internal storage, it's got 256 gigabytes of storage. In that, you can upgrade to 512, or you can also use an external micro SD card and bump it up to 1 terabyte of internal storage. Another comparison to the iPhone 11 Pro is the OnePlus 7 Pro. That, as a base memory, comes at 128 gigabytes of internal storage, or you can get it with 256. So while Apple comes out and announces their flagship phone and telling it it's catered to the pro individual, it's beyond me why they can't offer the 128 and come up to the market standards for the pro flagship version of their phone. Some of you might argue, so before you even go in the comment and start blasting me, I understand Apple's also coming out with a new filing system where it basically compresses all the data and it doesn't take up as much storage on your actual device. That's great and it's nice, but at the same time, I want to be able to have that internal storage as an internal storage, whether it's compressed or not compressed. And again, looking at the market standard, everyone is offering more as a base for their flagship phone, but Apple is still stuck in their old times and offering 64 gigabyte. If you look at their previous variant, which was the iPhone XS Max, 1 minute of 4K video shot at 60 frames per second, uses up about 400 megabytes of space. So just as a quick recap, for 1000 megabytes of memory is 1 gigabyte of storage. So close to about 2.5 minutes is equal to 1 gigabyte of memory space. So if you're doing a lot of videos, you're doing a lot of photos, which the camera's got a 12 megapixel camera, and of course it's got different cameras now. It's got the telephoto lens, the wide angle, as well as the normal camera. But again, if you're shooting 4K video and you're going to be using up that much space, is 64 gigabyte for a pro user really enough? So it's beyond me why Apple doesn't even upgrade to at least 128 megabytes for the pro version as a standard going forward, and then offer it at 256 and 512. But currently the way it stands, they offer 64 gigabytes, jump all the way up to 256 gigabytes, and then 512 gigabytes. And again, the range goes from about $1,000 to about $1,450. So I'm not sure why Apple does that. I think it's just a tactic for people to trick people into buying the bigger, more expensive unit, which I think is a very sleazy move on Apple's part. But I love to hear kind of what you guys think. If you have a different view on the storage and the pricing, please leave them in the comment section below. I love to be able to hear what you guys think. But that's just kind of my issue with Apple's whole event and how they release the phones. I think the phones it's a decent upgrade overall. It's just the memory part really bothers me as to why for the Pro and Max, for the 11 Pro and Pro Max, they're offering 64 gigabytes. So that's it for this video. I just wanted to get that out there and share it with you guys. But again, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. If you did enjoy this video, give me a big thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.